Alright, video for the Graceful Exit channel. It's kind of a follow-up to a video I just did, for the democracy style channel on the subject of organization, because again, that's the primary subject. Is just the difficulty of getting people to do what they need to do to make anything change. This book, Final Exit, was written in 1991, or published then anyway, by Derek Humphreys, and I actually did find him on YouTube, and it's pretty dismal. It's what's happened over the last 15, 17 years, whatever, because the book created a lot of controversy. People were talking about the subject. Then Kevorkian came along. There's lots of talk. And that's all it's ever been. It's just talk. Nothing gets done somehow. There's nothing. And it's, I think at its peak, the Hemlock Society had 30,000 members. It's just not good enough. And that's the sad truth. I guess this is, there's fewer people with any basic, whatever. Humanity, I would even call it. I don't know what to say. To not be able to concede that we need to reform laws to make it possible for people to die more gracefully and more economically is just, you're just an asshole if you can't draw that conclusion. And the only way you change laws is through organizing and defending policy changes and all that stuff. And so it's got to be talked about, and people have got to coalesce behind something and have to have the opportunity to vote for something. And it's organizations that are going to put something on the ballot for you to vote for. That requires an organization. An individual isn't going to be able to do that. An organization is. So we're not going to have a choice to vote for something in this democracy unless somebody organizes to give us that opportunity. And I suppose if we have the opportunity and people don't vote for it, well, then there's nothing else to say but that human beings are a failure. Because it really is, it's an ABC kind of subject. If you can't get this one right, if you think there's any reasonable purpose in imposing suffering on dying people, then fuck you. Fuck you to the hell you deserve. Fuck you to a death where you puke and you choke on your own puke. I hope you the worst death possible, and that's no point in doing that in a way, but we really deserve our pain and suffering. If this is what human beings want, if this is the world they want on purpose, if this is how they want it, then they deserve their suffering. It's disgusting. It's grotesque. So anyway, so it really is. The whole game is organization, and Derek Humphreys is not a very good example, because he is kind of an egomaniacal kind of guy. He's found himself a job and a life around this story and this issue, and that's unfortunate. He's just not the best person to be leading anything or to be motivating people, in my opinion, because I don't think it's as sincere as it needs to be. But anyway, it's really not the issue, because the point is the missions of any of these organizations that have ever existed, Right to Die movement organization, is so necessary, and it's just so simple. It's not a complex agenda. It's not something to be afraid of. Oh, they're gonna be putting all kinds of other nonsense into our Constitution or something. No, they're fighting for people to have the right to start getting rational about giving people more control over their individual lives. If you respect individuality, you have to respect any organization that has as its mission liberalizing law, giving people, individuals, rights to their autonomy, giving them the right to control their destiny, to invest their destiny in their judgment. It's pitiful, that all these anarchists and these free-thinking bullshitters, these people who talk the talk but never walk the walk, that they talk freedom, but they don't do anything that it requires to have freedom. Because your gun is not going to get you any rights. It's not going to earn you rights. It just isn't. You might earn the right to keep a gun, but that's it. It's not going to do any other practical use or purpose. It's not going to give you a better life, a freer life. So anyway, it's just such a basic subject. Well, anyway, I was just a little bit, when you do a Google search on these issues, Hemlock Society and the Right to Die, and whatever, even Kevorkian, you don't come up with shit. I mean, there's just nothing on YouTube, anything meaningful on this subject, and it's just damn depressing, because it's really core, and it's core to our future. I mean, the future's going to demand this. It's not that it's going to be a choice. It's happening even right now. It's that the decision's not being made based on how much somebody wants to live or how capable they are of surviving if you just spend a little bit of money on them. The decision's being made based on how much money somebody has. People are being killed in hospitals right now. They're being killed in nursing homes right now, and it's because they don't have insurance. It's because the institution isn't getting paid enough for that bed, for them sitting in that bed, and they can make more money if they put somebody else in that bed. And so that's what they're doing. They're shuffling people in and out of their institutions, trying to maximize how much money they can make on the individuals they have in those beds. And that's making the decision. And that's a shitty way to be making any decisions about who lives and who dies, or how they live and how they die. Like I said, I'm just depressed that there's nothing. I can't point to something. I mean, I'll point to the Derek Humphrey video, but so what? There's just nothing, and there's nothing to compel people to say, okay, this is what we have to do. We have to have a plan, and we have to implement, and we have to fight for this shit, and somebody has to do something, and there's just nobody doing. And I'll make this video, and there'll just be a bunch of jackasses who'll make stupid comments, and I'll just block them, and we'll play the same old game over and over. And well, whatever. It's something. There's got to be a way to make things change. And the least you can do is fight for at least organization, and the least you can do is not support people who are fighting against that. Because if anything's going to change, people have to get organized. You have to organize. You have to work with each other. You can hate each other's guts, but when you have a common purpose, you have to work towards it. And if all you're about is sabotaging somebody for some old whatever, then nothing's going to ever happen. Nothing's going to change. I mean, you're not accomplishing anything crank calling me. I mean, we might agree on 10 subjects. So why don't you work on doing something about those 10 subjects instead of wasting time making crank phone calls? But that's not going to change anything, you stupid fuck. I said fuck. Well, whatever. So I'll post a link to the old video, last week's video that they killed, that YouTube censored, and it's just grotesque censorship. That's all it is. It's nothing else. There's nothing wrong with the video. There's no reason why I shouldn't be able to publish that video on YouTube. And so it's thought control. It's right there in front of us. They're controlling what we're allowed to talk about and what people can hear. And that doesn't even seem to offend any of you fucks. And, so whatever. Yeah, whatever. That's enough.